Hello and welcome to the Royal Road School of Carmelite Prayer. A link to the Praying with Teresa of Avila website has been provided below to enable you to find the notes and audio of today's presentation, as well as the catalog of offerings on this channel. Today we will begin a series on the way of perfection, and specifically we'll be looking at the first part of the introduction prepared by Father Kieran Kavanaugh, Carmelite friar, the origins of the book, The Way of Perfection, along with its central theme. The origins of The Way of Perfection. The book was written at the request of Teresa's nuns when they learned that Teresa's confessor at the time, Domingo Banez, refused to allow her book, The Life, to be circulated among nuns and interested others. He did, however, give permission for her to write some things on prayer. And so she wrote The Way of Perfection as an act of obedience to her nuns. It is thought that Teresa wrote the first redaction of The Way of Perfection in 1566, and the second in 1569. She summarizes the subject matter as how one reaches the fount of living water, what the soul feels there, and how God satisfies it. She implied that The Way of Perfection was an introduction to her book, The Life. She felt that those who had reached the fount of living water would find the life very beneficial and receive much light from it. In answer to the question whether God might give mystical graces to imperfect souls, Teresa thinks that he would, so as to free them from their imperfections. But she categorically denies that contemplation would ever be granted to someone in mortal sin. In her view, she simply says, I want to say then that there are times when God will want to grant some great favor to persons who are in a bad state, so as to draw them by this means out of the hands of the devil. Amen. This is the end of part 1. Part 2 will be looking at the history of The Way of Perfection, along with the copies of the book that are in existence to date.